some of the statements that we can use. Okay, so in today's class we'll see these three statements. Okay, you call them as a break, continue, and go to statements. Okay, so these three statements, why I just group these three statements is you call them as flow control statements, right? You can call them as a flow control statements. That means they will control the flow of execution, right? So that means you have seen all these three things, but I'm just reminding you these things. Okay, what do you mean by break first? Okay, break. So what do you mean by break? Break is a statement when you execute the break. Okay, you will come out of the block where it is actually placed, right? If it is inside switch statement, you will just come out of the switch statement. If it is inside a loop, you will just come out of the loop. Okay, so you can use this break statement to come out of a particular block. What do you mean by block in C? What is block? What is block, ma? చెప్పండి బ్లాక్ అంటే ఏంటి సిలో?
A group of statements in parentheses, brackets.
Parentheses kadana braces, right? Open braces ki, closing braces ki మధ్యలో నువ్వు ఎన్ని స్టేట్మెంట్స్ అయితే రాస్తావో this total thing, okay, this total thing is called as a block none, right? The place between open brace and closing brace is called a block, right? So you have seen all these things. Okay, so we already saw the concept of a switch statement. Okay, so in switch statement what we have done, we just write some expression over here, right? And you just write some number of cases with some labels. Okay, and you put a colon here. Here what you do, you write so many statements and finally you put a break. Okay, so what happens if the break is not there inside a switch?
All the statements are executed.
Okay, so the following cases, okay, if there is another case like this, some label to, if break is not there, if your expression result is matched with this particular case label, it execute this and as well as it execute this also, right? It goes on so on until it finds the break statement. If no break is written, it until executes the default case, right? So that is the problem in this, but this is not we wanted with the switch statement. Okay, so we want to execute only the block of the statement that belongs to a particular case label, so you have to write a break over here, right? So then only you can come out of it, right? Do we need break in default statement? It's just a tricky question. Do we need a break in default?
No, sir.
Yes or no?
No, sir.
If we write default in the middle,
yeah, that's the
of
reason
the
why I
bracket,
just
then we
said
need
that
to-
it's a tricky question, because if you are writing default as a last statement inside switch, there is no need of the break statement. But I said that default can be write anywhere in the switch statement. If it is not other than the last place, or it may be at the beginning or it may be at the middle, then definitely you need a break statement inside the default, right? Okay now.
Yes, sir.
So that's about this break statement, right? And we have seen some programs like this. Okay, so what is this programmer? Can anyone guess that output?
0 to 8 number.
0 to 4, sir.
0 to
0, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Okay, if these two statements are not there, if this if condition and break are not there, what is the output?
0 to n.
0 to n, sir.
So whatever the n value, okay, so if I have given n as a 10 means it prints numbers from 0 to even 10 also, because I put a equals to also. But I put a condition that if I equals to 5, break. If I equals to 5, break. So the output will be 0, 1, 2, 3 and 4 only, right? So this is the output because of this. Okay, what happens when I becomes a 5? When I becomes a 5, you are saying that break will bring you out of the while loop to this return 0 and close, right? So what is the use or what is the logic of break is, whenever break is executed, you will just come out of a loop or you just come out of a switch statement. So this break can be used with the switch or this while or with for or with do while. Okay, you can use any of with the any of the loops or switch statement. That is the use of the break, right now? So you can write this inside the for also, right? Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
So basically, in the class, actually, we have seen these break statements inside a for loop. I think when we are actually in the first semester, actually, I gave the example for the for loop, how you can use a break inside for loop. So that's why I just write this break inside the while, right? Okay, so coming to the second one, what is this? Continue. Okay, continue. So what happens when you continue is executed? When a continue is executed, okay, all the statements after continue, will be skipped and you will directly go to the next iteration. You will go to the next iteration. It's not like a break. Break, what is the, in case of a break, what is happening? You're just coming out of the loop, you're just coming out of the block. But continue doesn't takes you out of it. It goes to the next round or next iteration by skipping all the statements. And it's like one note, an important note will be actually whenever you are writing this continue, make sure that there are some statements after continue. Okay, if there are no statements after continue, there is no use with the continue statement. It will be as if you are executing a loop only. You don't find any special use of the continue if there are no statements after continue. So make sure that there should be some statements after continue so that it can skip them, right? Em cheppanu ardhamainda anna? Em cheppanu ardhamainda?
Yes, sir.
Same program that we wrote with that while loop. Okay, just now I'm writing with a for loop. Okay, what will be the output for this program now?
0 to n excluding 5, sir.
Okay, and so it prints the numbers if I have given n as 10. So that prints values like 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Then 5 is kept. Then 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So by missing the value 5, so there won't be any 5 is printed. Why? Because when I is 5, we are saying that continue. So continue, what does it do? It will skip the statements that is after that, that is printing of I, and you will go to the I++. So when your I was actually 5 is not printed, you are directly going to that I++, and I becomes a 6, and you continue with this. So it prints all the numbers 0 to 10 without a number 5, right? So I said that there should be some, we should be cautious that we should not write something like this. If I write something like this, printf %d I, and after that if I write this, if I equals to 5 and continue. Okay, what is the output for this one?
0 to n will be printed.
So it prints all the numbers including 5 also. But what is the thing, actually we didn't change anything, we have just written every statement in the program. Then what we have done, we just swapped the positions of these two statements with the print statement. Before we wrote those two statements first, later print statement. So 5 is actually skipped. But now we just write the first print statement, and after that we just write if and continue. Since when you are executing continue, there is no statement after that that should be skipped. So obviously you don't find any difference. Okay, so this is same as printing all the numbers from 0 to n. So this is a small mistake that if you are not cautious, or if you are not, it's like in your minds you tend to do these kind of mistakes. Okay, so you should be careful that we should not write a continue statement like this, right, ma'am? So this is a continue. So this continue also can be used with this for loop, or this can be used with the while also. But if you write with while, actually sometimes it may result into infinite loop, ma'am. So don't use that continue with the while and all. It's better you use them with the for, right? Most of the times the continue is used with the for only, right?
Yes, sir.
Why I said that it results into a kind of an infinite loop. Okay, for example, if I just write something like this, while I less than or equals to n, right? If I say that if I equals to 5, okay, continue, and in below I just write that I equals to I plus 1, then print of %d, then I. Okay, does it is a proper or it's an infinite loop?
Infinite loop, sir.
So it's an infinite loop, Nana, right? You know, when I has become a 5, you are executing continue, you just go here. Okay, in the for loop actually what happens, you are going to the updation, but in while there is no place called updation. This is a normal statement like this. Okay, so whatever the statements that are here, these will be skipped, and you directly go to the condition, and 5 is always less than or equals to n only, and you are never changing the I value, right? Because you put a continue statement over here, you are not incrementing I value, right? So you are not incrementing I value means I is forever 5, and that 5 is forever less than or equals to that n value, right? And that will be an infinite loop. So that's why we don't prefer to use inside the while statement, right, ma'am? So continue should be used with the for loop. అర్థమైందా ఏం చెప్పాము? ఏనన్నా మాట్లాడండి.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
and the final statement is go to. Okay, so what is goto is actually, I told you that goto is a specific statement. There are so many millions of supporters as well as haters are also there. Equal number of people. There are so many people who are supporting goto and there are equal number of people who are opposing goto. Okay, so why? What is the reason actually? So they say that actually this goto abruptly changes the program execution or whatever the logic that we have written in the program. It just skip that logic or it doesn't bother about the logic and directly takes your execution to a particular place. Okay, so that's why they say that there is no logic in putting a goto in statement. But some of the people says that when we were stuck in a particular part of the program, okay, we went to a particular statement where there is no way to get out of that particular situation. In that case, goto is very helpful. That's what people argue in terms of in support of the goto statements. Did you get my point? సో గో టు ఎంత మనకి ప్రోగ్రామ్ ఎగ్జిక్యూషన్ కి మనం రాసిన లాజిక్ కి అసలు ప్రోగ్రామ్ సైజ్ కి సంబంధం లేకుండా ఒక ప్లేస్ నుంచి ఒక ప్లేస్ కి ఎలా తీసుకెళ్లిపోతుందో సో దాన్ని వచ్చేసి దే సే దట్ గో టు కరెక్ట్ కాదు అని చెప్తారు కన్నా. అలాగే మనం ఒక్కొక్కసారి ఏదైనా ఒక ప్రోగ్రామ్ లో కనుక వి వర్ స్ట్రక్ ఎట్ సమ్వేర్ ఎక్కడో చోట కనుక ఆగిపోయి మళ్ళీ బయటపడడానికి దారి లేదు అనుకున్నప్పుడు గో టు చాలా హెల్ప్ చేస్తుంది అని చెప్పి దేర్ ఆర్ సమ్ పీపుల్ ఆర్ ఆర్గ్యూయింగ్ ఇన్ favor of the goto none, right? So let people whatever they want to say, they'll say that. Just we see what is this goto is all about. Okay, so just look at this man. If I'm writing a program like this hash include, okay, so first of all I just try to tell you how to write this goto. How you write goto means you have to write goto, there is no space between that, write goto and you just give a label here. Label. What do you mean by label? Label is any valid identifier. For example, I'm just writing Seenu. Okay, so this is how you write that. Go to followed by identifier. So you put somewhere in the program, like if this is a program like this int main, and you just write this go to Seenu, and you have to write this name somewhere in the program. Seenu with colon like that. Okay, so you have to repeat this name and write colon, and where you can write some statements. This is how go to syntax or template look like. Did you get my point? Go to should be write as go to space some name or a label or identifier semicolon, and you need to write this label at somewhere in the program with the name followed by colon, and after that you can have some statements. That's how go to look like. Right, ma'am?
Yes, sir.
Okay, very good. So I just write a small program on this, okay? నాన్న ఇక్కడ వరకు కనిపిస్తుందా ఇది? Are you able to see this?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
ఈ ప్రోగ్రామ్ చూస్తున్నారు నాన్న, కనిపిస్తుందా?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so just see that program carefully. Okay, now I'll show you the execution part, right? Nana, can you see this screen?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
very good. Okay, so do you have a program on this GoTo or something? A question on GoTo, ma?
Yes, sir.
Okay. నన్ను చూస్తున్నారు అవుట్పుట్? ఏమా What is the output here? It's saying that n is positive and as well as a negative, right?
Yes, sir.
ఓకే నేను ఇప్పుడు చూడండి కొంచెం క్లియర్ గా పెట్టాను. 12 is positive number, 12 is a negative number అని చెప్తుంది నాన్న, రైట్? ఏనన్నా
Yes, sir.
మీరు ఏమనుకుంటారు, యాక్చువల్ గా పాజిటివ్ అనే రావాలి కదా, నెగిటివ్ అని ఎందుకు వస్తుంది, రైట్? అవునా?
Yes, sir.
దీనికి నానా
Yes, sir.
పాజిటివ్ వరకు వెళ్ళటం గుర్తుంటుంది నానా, అంటే మధ్యలో మనం ఏం రాసినా అన్నిటిని స్కిప్ చేసుకుని పాజిటివ్ వరకు వెళ్ళటం గుర్తుంటది. బట్ ఒకసారి పాజిటివ్ దగ్గరికి వెళ్ళిన తర్వాత కింద ఎన్ని స్టేట్మెంట్స్ ఉంటే అన్ని స్టేట్మెంట్స్ మొత్తాన్ని వచ్చేసి అది ఎగ్జిక్యూట్ చేసుకుంటూ వెళ్ళిపోతుంది నన్ను వచ్చేసి. సో ఈవెన్ దట్ నెగిటివ్ కాల్ అని కూడా ఎగ్జిక్యూట్ చేసేస్తుంది. సో అలా రాకుండా ఉండడానికి నేను బోర్డు మీద ఏం రాశాను, బోర్డు మీద ఇలాగే రాశానా, మార్చి రాశానా? ఏమా బోర్డు మీద
రిటర్న్
ఇలాగే
జీరో
రాశానా,
రాశారు సార్,
మార్చానా?
పాజిటివ్ దాని కింద
ఏనా?
రిటర్న్ జీరో రాశారు సార్.
So I just write the return 0. Why? Because I want only one answer, right? So what that return 0 do? When you say that your number is positive, it closes the execution, Anna. You don't go to the negative part, right? So see that 12 is positive number, that's it. Can you see the output?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Nana, so that's the reason why I just write that return 0. Okay, I'll just give a negative value. Okay, I'm just giving -5. ఏమొచ్చింది నాన్న?
Negative number.
-5 is a negative number. -5 is a negative number, right? అర్థమైందా?
Yes, sir.
ఏనన్నా?
Yes, sir.
ఓకే, నేను ఇక్కడ రాస్తున్నా చూడండి నాన్న, ఇక్కడ రాస్తున్నాను చూడండి. At the main, okay, in the beginning I am writing this, go to end అని పెట్టాను. ఎండ్ అని చెప్పి ఇదిగోండి ఈ రిటర్న్ దగ్గర ముందు పెడుతున్నా ఎండ్ అని, రిటర్న్ 0 కి ముందు. కనిపిస్తుందమ్మా?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'm running my program, Nana. Did you get any output? పైకి కూడా తీసుకెళ్తాను చూడండి, ఏమైనా అవుట్పుట్ ఉందా?
No, sir.
No, sir.
No,
Okay,
sir.
we didn't get any output, Nana. Why? Before declaring n, before reading the value n, I just write go to end. So నన్ను ఏం చేస్తున్నాను, ప్రోగ్రామ్ లోకి రాగానే ఎండ్ ఎక్కడ ఉంది అని ఇవన్నీ వెతుక్కుంటున్నాను. ఇవన్నీ వెతుక్కుని ఎండ్ ఎక్కడ తగిలింది, దానికి చివర్లో తగిలింది, రైట్?
Yes, sir.
సో రిటర్న్ 0 కి ముందు తగిలింది, అక్కడికి తీసుకెళ్ళింది నాన్న. అక్కడ రిటర్న్ 0 ఉంది కాబట్టి ప్రోగ్రామ్ ఎండ్ అయిపోయి నో అవుట్పుట్ నాన్న. ఈ రిటర్న్ 0 కి ముందు నేను ఇక్కడ ఇలా రాస్తున్నాను చూడండి, ప్రింట్ అని చెప్పేసి ఐఎమ్ రైటింగ్ మై నేమ్ సీను అని. ఇప్పుడు ఏమవుతుంది,
Print అవుతుంది, sir.
సీను ప్రింట్ అయ్యి
సీను
ప్రోగ్రామ్
execute
ఎండ్ అవుతుంది నాన్న. సీను ప్రింట్ అవుతుంది, ప్రోగ్రామ్ ఎండ్ అవుతుంది. సో ఇంకా మధ్యలో ఉన్న టోటల్ లాజిక్ కానీ వాల్యూస్ ని డిక్లేర్ చేయడం కానీ వాల్యూ తీసుకోవడం కానీ ఏమి ఎగ్జిక్యూట్ కావాలన్న వచ్చేసి. సో దిస్ ఈస్ ద ప్రాబ్లమ్ విత్ దిస్ గో టు నన్, రైట్? సో అంటే ఆర్గ్యూ చేసే వాళ్ళు ఏంటి అంటే గో టు అన్నది యూస్ఫుల్ గా ఉంది, బాగుంది అనుకుంటారు కొంతమంది. కొంతమంది చెప్తారు వచ్చేసి అసలు లాజిక్ తో సంబంధం లేకుండా మనం ఎక్కడికి వెళ్ళిపోమంటే అక్కడికి తీసుకెళ్ళిపోతుంది ఎగ్జిక్యూషన్ ని. సో హౌ కెన్ వి సపోర్ట్ గో టు దిస్ ఇస్ రాంగ్ అని చెప్తున్నారు నన్ను వచ్చేసి. సో దట్స్ వాట్ యూ హ్యావ్ టు రైట్ ఫర్ దిస్ క్వశ్చన్ అన్న, రైట్, విత్ దీస్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ ప్రోగ్రామ్స్ అండ్ స్టోరీ. ఓకే నా గో టు గురించి చదివింది రాసేస్తే అయిపోతుంది, రైట్ మా.
ఓకే సార్.
ఓకేనా?
ఓకే సార్.
Very good. So back to the pavilion. Chesama. So that's all about the break. Okay, so that's about the break, continue and go to statement. Okay, so I think you got a better clarity on this, right? Did you understand how to write go to, how to use it in program and all? Ardhamainda leda?
Yes sir.
Okay Nana, so that's it. Okay, we'll go to the next concept Nana, that is called arrays. Okay, we all know what you mean by array and all that. Okay, can anyone tell me what's the definition for array?
Array is a collection of homogeneous elements. Array is a collection
Storing
of
same
homogeneous
data.
collection of homogeneous elements.
Okay, array is the
In
collection of
contiguous memory
similar
location,
data
sir.
types or collection of
Occupies contiguous memory
elements,
location.
right? Collection of homogeneous elements. What do you mean by homogeneous? All are of same type, right? And what is the speciality of arrays? They will store in contiguous memory locations, right? They will store in contiguous memory locations. What do you mean by contiguous memory locations? What is its meaning?
Continuous successive.
మాట్లాడండి. contiguous అంటే ఏంటి నాన్న?
Adjacent.
Okay, side by side.
Side by side.
Yeah, side by side. పక్క పక్కనే. ప్రతి ఎలిమెంట్ ఫస్ట్ ఎలిమెంట్ ఒక చోట ఉంటే దాని పక్కనే సెకండ్ ఉంటుంది, దాని పక్కనే థర్డ్ ఉంటుంది. అంటే ఒక చోట డిఫరెంట్ ప్లేసెస్ లో కాకుండా అన్ని ఒకే చోట పక్క పక్కన స్టోర్ అవుతాయి అన్న. దట్స్ కాల్డ్ యాజ్ అ contiguous memory locations, right? Okay, why we need arrays? What is the reason why they included arrays in the C language? Cheppanamma, what is the reason?
To store large number of elements of same data type.
Basically what happens is if I need 10 elements and all are integers, I have to give 10 names for the 10 variables and I have to read all the elements, right? For example, if I want to name them as n1, n2, n3, n4, n5, n6, n7, n8, n9, n10, that is how I have to name them, right? Then I have to read all the values separately or something like with the different names. Okay, so they thought of why we should put so many names for those values. If that is 10 values, we can write 10 names. If that is 1000 values, how can you write 1000 names and how can you remember 1000 names? So they thought of something like that. Okay, why should we have a different number of names and all that? Why don't we have a single name and still we can store all the values in that single name? That's what they thought of. Okay, so from that thought the concept come, that is called the arrays, right? ఒక్క పేరుతోనే నువ్వు ఎన్ని వాల్యూస్ అయినా స్టోర్ చేసుకోవచ్చు, అవునా కాదా? Right? Okay, just look at this ma. Okay, how I have to declare my array? I have to write the data type, then space, array name, and I have to use this square bracket, and inside square bracket I have to write the size, right? This is a syntax for array. So examples is char name 10 int values 20 float factors some 15, right ma? These are the examples. This is a character array, integer array, float array. That means you can create an array of any data type. You can create an array of double, you can create an array of long double, you can create an array of long integers. You can use any data type. You can create a particular array, right? Maatladandi.
Yes, sir.
Okay, what happens if I declare an array of character name with size 10? So that creates name array with a space that store 10 elements. So the beginning index value is always 0 and the last index value is size minus 1. So that is 9. So there will be 10 places where you can store 10 characters, right? Where each element size is 1 byte. 1 byte. Why I am telling each element size is 1 byte? Because its data type is character type. So its size is 1 byte. If I am talking about values, okay, so this is another array and its name is values. Okay, so here there will be place for the 20 elements because we said the size is 20 and the indexes is 0, 1, 2 and so on until 19, and here the size of a single element is 2 bytes. Why I am saying 2 bytes? No, because its a data type is a integer, right? If I want to write or draw a figure for this factors, okay, it will have a place for 15 elements and the index values are from 0, 1, 2 until 14 because we have given the size as 15, and here the size of each element is how much? Chappati?
4 bytes.
4 bytes. Okay. So what do you mean by that? The size of each block or each element is based on the data type of the array, right? Okay. So if I want to find out what are the sizes, okay, sizes for these all arrays. Can anyone tell me how many bytes this name occupies?
10 bytes, sir.
Okay, since its size is 10 and its data type is a 1. Okay, so how can you calculate size of a data type plus a size of the plus antenna? Okay, size of a data type into size of a array. Right, Nana? Chappandi. So since that is character is 1, so 1 into 10, so 10 bytes. So 10 bytes is for, so 1 into 10, so its size is 10 bytes. For integer, size of integer is 2 and its size is 20. So it occupies 40 bytes, right? And this one, each element size is 4 and array size is 15 and it is 60 bytes. Right, Nana? Yes, sir. Okay, so ikkada formula lantidi. Total memory occupied by array equals to, what is the formula?
Size of data type.
Okay, size of
Array.
data type into array size. Right, ma'am? So that's a formula for that, right? Ardhamainda leda?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, so and there is another question, ma, right? Okay, it's like how can you initialize an array? How can you initialize an array? If that is a character array like the previous one, char name with the size 10. Okay, how can I write that? So you just put a braces and you write letters like this: A, B, C, or numbers also. Even the numbers also characters, right? 1, 2, or some plus, or some dot like this. Okay, so that's how you can initialize the array. So you put a 10 characters that will be taken into this character array, right? Okay, now.
Yes, sir.
So if I take integer like this, int values, okay, with 5, so I will write 5 numbers: -5, 10, 0, 3, 9. So I have given 5 values separated by commas inside the braces, right? If that is a float factors with the size something like 7. If I write something like 0.2 minus 0.123 minus 3.5, something like this, 5.0, 6.3, 7.5, 8.9 like this, right, ma'am? So you can write how many? Okay, 7 elements inside the braces. This is how you can initialize an array. If you are talking about the characters, you have to put those characters, every character in single quote and separated by commas. If that you are talking about integers, you write positive or negative integers with no fraction parts. If you are talking about float values, you have to write that many number of values which are having the fraction part separated by commas. This is how we initialize arrays. Okay, since we are talking about the arrays, actually this is a one-dimensional array. So if I increase another dimension, that is two-dimensional array. If I increase another dimension, that is three-dimensional array. So there can be n number of dimensions for your array. Okay, so we'll just discuss that in the next class, right?